I was not prepared for plaintiff's counsel to act like he learned law, not in law school and through taking the bar exam, but I don't know, by watching Liar, Liar.
Do you consider Karan Newton to be a witness in this case? Okay?
No.
Sustained. Counsel, I need you to move on. This case isn't about discovery. You might want to move on to what it is about.
Is Tierra Malcolm a witness to this case?
Counsel, please.
Do you know of who the witnesses are today?
All right, we're going to take a break, folks. Why don't we take a 10-minute break? We'll resume at 3:55.
Today we are assembling in, well, Alhambra, California. We are in Los Angeles County. It's Thursday, October 2nd. We are rejoining the Cardi B case from just about a month ago because we were in the middle of the Donna Adelson case. And so because we were in the middle of the Donna Adelson case, we did not have the opportunity to, party with Cardi in court. And this case has been an adventure. At the end of the day on day 2, because we covered day 1 and 2 together, at the end of the day on day 2, they called Cardi B as a hostile witness. And that was lovely because it's actually a hostile witness. But you know what counsel didn't do? We learned this yesterday too. How wild was this? Counsel didn't depose Cardi B. So he can't ask leading questions because he doesn't know what she's going to say because he never deposed her. He's just on a fishing expedition because he has no idea what she's going to say because he never deposed her. It feels more and more from day 1 and 2 that plaintiff's counsel was not at all prepared for this to go to trial. I don't know what research you did, but you don't know who you're suing then. If you don't think Cardi B is going to go to trial on this, you don't know who you've sued because she's not the one. We've seen Cardi B settle other cases, but we've also seen that when Cardi B's like, I didn't do that shit, she's going to trial. And a lot of you have asked, couldn't this case just be thrown out? No. And here's why. This case has a true factual dispute. Cardi B says, I didn't touch her. The other woman said, she scratched me. There is a true factual dispute in this case. The only way to resolve that factual dispute is by a jury. And here we are. There's nothing else that could have really been done to kick this case out. But it seems like plaintiff's counsel thought that Cardi B will just settle to make it go away. No, she's going to serve in court and then make you go away. She's not just going to give you money. So today we are going to resume with day 3. We will see which of Cardi B's fabulous wigs come into court today. For those of you that were familiar maybe with Cardi B's music, but were not super familiar with her on social or on Love and Hip Hop or anything like that, did Cardi B charm you? I just want to know, did you watch Cardi B testify and went, she's fun, we enjoy her? Let me know.
Yesterday I ruled that Dr. Finke could testify. I want to rule on the Malcolm.
Dr. Finke is the OBGYN that Cardi B was going to see. So that is who Dr. Finke is. He is going to testify. He's been allowed to testify.
Issue. I don't think that there's any evidence of intentionally hiding this witness. I think both parties wanted to identify this witness. I think both parties made attempts to investigate and to identify this witness. At the final status conference, the receptionist was identified as a witness. We had discussions about attempting to identify her.
Yep.
She subsequently was identified, so I don't think that there's unfair surprise. I don't find any evidence of bad faith in terms of the discovery process, and so I'm going to allow her to testify.
We're going to take just a brief moment to take a look at something from the ABA Journal from 2023 because I couldn't help myself. Lawyers accused in courthouse altercation offer starkly conflicting accounts of incident July 13th, 2023. This is from the ABA Journal, which is a legal publication. Did a lawyer knock the eyeglasses off his attorney opponent while spinning him around during an altercation outside a Los Angeles courtroom on Friday? Or was the dispute merely a verbal argument between friends? Lawyers offer starkly conflicting accounts of the altercation during a hearing before a judge Wednesday. Law 360 reports the attorney's behavior caused a mistrial. The dispute led to a mistrial, according to a lawyer for Garrigus and Garrigus, firm of Mark Garrigus, which is being sued for an alleged malpractice in the case. One of the lawyers involved in the altercation is Ron A. Rosen-Janfaza. That's the lawyer for the plaintiff here. Ron is the lawyer that we are dealing with. One of the lawyers involved in the altercation, plaintiff's counsel, Ron A. Rosen-Janfaza, who represents the plaintiff suing Garrigus and Garrigos. The other is Steve Belilov of Kaufman, Dolowich, Volyuk. I can't even. Steve and Ron. Steve is representing Garrigus and Garrigus. Another attorney, Steve Segura, told Judge Melricana that he saw the altercation, and Ron, plaintiff's attorney in this case, was the aggressor, according to the Law 360 account. I have so many questions for Judge Ricana. Okay, according to Segura, Rosen approached Steve, called him a bitch. They said in the article, called him the B word, called him a bitch, and said, "Do you want to get a piece of me now?" Ron proceeded to spin Steve, the attorney, around, knocking his eyeglasses to the ground, Segura told the judge. Then Ron, the attorney in this case, plaintiff's attorney, stomped and kicked the glasses. Ron maintained the argument was nothing more than a verbal argument between colleagues and friends, according to Law 360. Quote, "I don't remember anything physical happening," Ron said. The article continues to say, "The only thing I did hear is one of the jurors said, 'Steve struck me.'" So now Ron is saying, no, one of the jurors said that the other counsel struck me. Even based on Segura's account, there's nothing really physical. So my version of what occurred was, I'll say, I did nothing wrong. Ron said, my version is I did nothing wrong. There was nothing physical. I'm not allowed at this point to speak against Steve about what he said, but I'm just going to say I didn't do anything physical. Steve said he never laid his hands on Ron, but, quote, he did lay hands on me. Ron, plaintiff's counsel in this case, asked the judge not to report him to the state bar and to reconsider his decision to recuse himself from the case. It caused a mistrial. The judge, I imagine, reported him to the state bar and recused himself from the case. Quote, "There's no reporting requirement. You don't have to recuse yourself. And I'm going to say it. You're my favorite judge in the entire courthouse." Yeah, Judge Ricana's great. He's probably sick of your shit, though. But I can't speak for him. Quote, "That's what it is. And the plaintiffs feel the same way. And they want you to be the judge in this case. Don't put your hands on opposing counsel and the court won't have to fucking recuse themselves. Counsel, you are a menace."
What did you do?
I immediately walked over there and got in between them and was like, whoa, my thing was I'm at work. So the first thing that really came out of my mouth is to Miss Ellis, just as far as, what are you doing? You're at work, go back to your post. And then I don't know how long it was, but I couldn't get her. I just wanted everything to go away.
Yeah.
I just was trying to.
Y'all stop. She was like, I was literally trying to squash the beef.
I just wanted everything to go away. I just was trying to calm everything down, take Cardi B into the office, and and I was trying to go. It was my sister's baby shower, so I was trying to get out of there.
That's so real.
But, I mean, that wasn't on my mind then, but just to calm the situation down and to get her into the office.
I had plans. It was Saturday. I had plans.
Respond?
I don't even know if she heard what I asked, because it was just more of just being upset. And no, I'm not going to do that. And just, them still exchanging words even with me in between.
Yeah. Was Miss Ellis yelling at Cardi B?
I mean, it was pretty loud for me to hear. It was still the same volume from when I couldn't hear them while I was in the office down the hall. So So I would say so.
Was Miss Ellis cursing at Cardi B?
There was definitely curse words, yes, on her end.
When you were there, did Miss Ellis attempt to strike Cardi B?
There was hands going while I was in the middle. I know no one landed, or I was, I didn't even realize, I guess because my adrenaline, that I had a mark on my forehead. So besides me getting a scratch, nobody, as far as them two, hit each other.
Who scratched you?
Based off of, like I said, I didn't know that I even got scratched until I went into the office, and the nurse was like, "Tierra, your forehead." But I can only assume Cardi B was behind me, because that was my main concern.
Objection calls for speculation.
Oh,
Cardi B was behind me, so she didn't scratch my forehead.
So Cardi B was behind you, and you were facing who?
I was facing Miss Ellis.
And you got hit on your forehead and didn't even realize it at that point.
Yeah, blood.
just let him finish the question.
Oh, sorry.
She said, yeah, it bled. I got scratched on the forehead. Yeah, it bled. So the person who got scratched in all of this is the front reception at the doctor's office? That's who got scratched?
And so you got hit, you were facing Miss Ellis, and she was swinging away?
I can say there was definitely, people talk and like this type of action going on.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were
let's see
hit
the witness.
on your forehead, which was facing Miss Ellis, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What happened next?
After, just going back and forth, Dr. Finke came out. Once he came out, I believe after that, I don't even really remember what was said, but I know I continued to take Cardi B into the office, to her exam room, and then I went back to the front.
All right, I think these questions are appropriate. Ma'am, when you did you actually close your office to maintain privacy for Cardi B?
Yes.
And when you do that, was it your custom and practice to also notify the building security?
That's what the jury wants to know. Did security know if Cardi B was coming in? Did you tell security when you were closing your office early that you had a celebrity coming in? That's what we want to know too. Great question, jurors.
I honestly don't know if that was done or not.
Did you normally do that, or were you?
That wasn't my task. No.
Okay.
Not her
do
job.
You recall the N-word coming out of Cardi B's mouth?
No.
Can you describe Cardi B's emotional state during and after?
That was also asked by the lawyers, by the way.
Upset, emotional, worried about the reason why she was there.
Do you have a clear memory of what happened next?
Yes.
Any particular reason that you have that clear memory?
It's never happened before.
Right.
And what did you do after you ran down the hall towards the yelling?
As soon as I got into the hallway and realized what was going on, my receptionist was between the plaintiff and the defendant. And
So she was the burger in the bun situation.
there was a lot of yelling, a lot of finger pointing. And at one point, my receptionist was struck, not hard, but I remember
There was a
it
lot
on
of
the
yelling.
shoulder kind of thing. I think it was her right shoulder. And there was a phone in the security guard's hand, and the phone kept going back from the ear to point and then back to the ear. And at one point, kind of both hands were kind of flailing, but not closed fists or anything like that.
Hands up in the air sometimes.
More swatting.
Saying
Did
AO?
the receptionist show you a cut on her forward afterwards?
I believe so. Very minor.
Okay. And what is the receptionist's name? The woman who was between Ms. Ellis and Cardi B?
Tierra.
And you hear yelling, you open the door, you see what you've described. What happened next? Let me ask, what did you do next?
I tried to de-escalate the situation.
He thought to himself, are you fucking kidding me? On a Saturday. Stop it. But that's just my speculation.
Separate the two and get our security guard back in the elevator and off the floor. I remember repeatedly, I was trying to match sort of with body, language, the intensity of it to get across the point that this was not okay. And
You were trying to meet crazy with crazy?
this
Is that what
your
you're saying?
job.
And who did you address that to?
Ms. Ellis.
Okay. And did she say anything in response?
I don't remember. There was a lot of name calling going back and forth between the two and threats, that type of thing. But my primary objective was to get our security guard back in the elevator and off the floor.
And how did you accomplish that?
Repeating myself over and over and over. And I can't remember if I was holding the elevator door open or I've been trying to think about that. I have no idea.
Get
I remember
the
pushing
elevator.
the button if it wasn't.
Get in the
but
elevator.
just to try to get the elevator there and get
Out.
Ms. Ellis back on it.
Did you come between
I was trying to get her the fuck on the elevator and off my floor.
your receptionist and Cardi B, between them on the one hand and Ms. Ellis?
I think to the side.
Okay. What did you tell her to try and get her to move into the elevator?
Move it, move
To
it.
stop
I like to move it,
and
move it.
to
I like
do
to.
your job.
Did you say that repeatedly?
Yes.
Did you say it in a loud voice?
Yes.
And what was she doing when you were saying these things?
Yelling and pointing. I think at that point there was enough distance between the parties that there was no longer, any gestures that could be construed as violent.
Okay. And at that point, had the Cardi B and the receptionist gone back into the office, into your office?
Yes, as soon as Miss Ellis stepped back on the elevator, Cardi and Tierra were heading back into my office.
At any point were you face to face with Miss Ellis?
Yes.
And can you estimate how close you were?
It was close proximity,
Okay.
within a foot.
Did you see on her face any scratches?
No,
Did you see on her face any cuts?
none.
Did you see on her face any blood?
No,
Did you see any injury at all on her face that day?
none.
And did you see spit or spittle or any other fluid on her, anywhere on her?
No.
In this case, you've heard lots and lots of testimony.
Not
We've had
really.
The plaintiff who's testified. We've had the plaintiff's mother who's testified. We've had the plaintiff's grandmother who's testified. Those three witnesses explained
Plaintiff's mother and grandma weren't there.
their recollection about the scar. There was testimony that the scar, or the cut, came from this incident. That's a very, very important fact. There's really nothing to contradict that. The other thing that I wanted to highlight is I really just don't understand. The defendant came here, used all of this foul language. This is a court of law. You cannot speak this way in a court. I have never seen this before. And for her to use all of those words, F word, B word, all these different words, it's a disrespect to us, it's a disrespect to the judge, it's disrespect to this courthouse. You cannot come to court and say these kind of words.
Sir Alhambra doesn't feel disrespected. She's like, the fuck you asked me to.
There is still some scar on her face. It's still there. It still bothers her. So that's why I'm asking that not only you give her the $17,500 in her past medical bills for the scar, that you give her another $15,000 for the future scar revision treatment. She didn't deserve this. She didn't deserve to be
Counsel's asking for the monetary damages he wants the jury to award to him.
scratched and cut and spit on, all these things. All of the things that happened to Miss Ellis are, they're wrong. And we want to make this wrong right. And how can we do that? For each one of you. You have the power to make this wrong right and close the books for Miss Ellis so she can move on with her life as much as she possibly could. And yes, The only way to do that right now, for today's purposes, is to reimburse her for the losses that she sustained. Those are the medical bills, the past, and the future. The other thing that is an important way of compensating Ms. Ellis is for her pain and suffering. In every case where there's medical bills and there's medical damages, component of that is pain and suffering. There is really no way, there's no exact math to that. So for instance, if you said, I want to give her the $17,500, I want to give her the $15,000, and I want to give her another $250,000 for pain and suffering, you are allowed to do that. It is
I don't know if they're going to buy your pain and suffering argument.
a number that you can come up with. During the 7.5 years that she's been suffering, you may say, I would like to give her $100 a day. For 1 year, that's $36,000. And for 7 years, that comes up to $270,000. We're not looking for millions of dollars like the defendant said. That's not what we're looking for. We're really looking for
Counsel, stop it.
for a simple amount of money that can make her
Simple.
give her something that's fair so she can get
Zero simple.
some form of compensation, some form of closure, and move on with her life. That is all we're asking you to do.
How about no?
I would request that you admonish the jury
Yep.
to disregard
Yep.
all of the statements that you sustained objections to. I would also ask that you assign misconduct to counsel and that he be reprimanded because this has just been
Sanctions, 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 sanctions.
ongoing.
Okay, we can discuss.
I want to respond.
Well, let me do this. I will.
Counsel, I want to respond. I bet you do want to respond. Stop it. The court's like, we're not doing this right now.
Give further instruction to the jury about that the argument of counsel is not evidence and that they should disregard any comments that were not supported by the evidence. I will give that instruction. We can discuss whether or not we want to set an OSC after the trial for any alleged conduct. And before we get started with the defense closing argument, you heard
Tell the jury to just disregard everything counsel said.
a number of objections during plaintiff's closing. Some were procedural or evidentiary in nature, but some of them were based on facts that weren't introduced during the trial. And so that's why I was sustaining those objections. To the extent that plaintiff's counsel mentioned any facts that weren't presented in evidence during the trial, please disregard any and all of those facts that he represented that weren't actually accepted into evidence during the trial. Okay? All right, with that, defense can give their closing.
I'd like to just mention quickly that counsel argued that Cardi swore and used profanities in the courtroom and that was disrespectful. Actually, all she
He asked her to.
was doing was repeating under oath what was said. In fact, Ms. Ellis, plaintiff, used profanities to describe what she heard. Counsel used profanities, and I have to admit I used profanities, but just to tell you what was supposedly said. Cardi has never gratuitously sworn at any point in this courtroom, and the suggestion that you should be prejudiced against her because of that is just unfounded and offensive. Dr. Mulligan also testified that he charged $17,500 on a lien basis, which means he gets paid only if plaintiff wins or if plaintiff pays him. But plaintiff testified under
He gets paid if plaintiff wins.
counsel's own examination on Monday that she couldn't afford a $15,000 or $20,000 plastic surgery bill. So we know she's not going to pay Dr. Mulligan. Dr. Mulligan knows that he is going to get paid, if at all, his $17,500 only if his testimony helps plaintiff recover money in this case. That is a big incentive, and because of that risk, that's why he added a 20% premium to his bill. Ultimately, this case comes down to what happened in a minute in a medical building hallway. And to believe plaintiff, you would have to disbelieve Cardi, you would have to disbelieve Ms. Malcolm, you would have to disbelieve
That's a good way to wrap it up.
Dr. Finke, and you would have to ignore all of plaintiff's contradictory statements,
That's a
including
good way
whether
to
she
wrap
had a
it
cell
up.
phone, whether she had an earpiece, all that stuff.
Good wrap up,
This is
counsel.
not a difficult case. It is not a close case. Plaintiff has the burden of proof, and the evidence is overwhelming in Cardi's favor. Plaintiff has not met her burden of proof. And plaintiff's demand for whether it's the $24 million that was testified to at trial or the $250,000 plus that you heard today makes no sense. She suffered no injury. Cardi did not do anything wrong except try to protect her baby and get to a doctor.
We, the jury, in the above entitled case, answer the questions submitted to us as follows. Section A, assault and battery. Question 1, did plaintiff Emani Ellis prove all of the following elements of battery? 1, Defendant Belcalis Marlenes Almanzar, Ms. Almanzar, touch Ms. Ellis in the intent to harm or offend Ms. Ellis. Number 2, Ms. Ellis did not consent to being touched. Number 3,
This is what they were trying to truncate.
Or offended by Ms. Almanzar's conduct. And 4, a reasonable person in Ms. Ellis' situation would have been offended by the touching. Answer, no. Question 2, did Ms. Ellis
Right. So Cardi B wins. The answer is no. Was there assault and battery? No.
prove all of the following elements of assault? Number 1, Ms. Almanzar acted with the intent to cause harmful or offensive contact with Ms. Ellis. Number 2, Ms. Ellis reasonably believed that she was about to be touched in a harmful or an offensive manner. Number 3, Ms. Ellis did not consent to Ms. Almanzar's conduct. Number 4, Ms. Ellis was harmed. And
They should have let them truncate
Ms.
this.
Almanzar's conduct was a substantial factor in causing Ms. Ellis's harm. Answer, no.
Nope.
Cardi B is not liable.
Section B, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Question 5, did Ms. Ellis prove all of the following elements of intentional infliction of emotional distress? 1, Ms. Almanzar engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct beyond mere insults, threats, indignities, annoyances, hurt feelings, or other trivialities that a reasonable person is expected to endure. 2, Ms. Almanzar intended to cause Ms. Ellis emotional distress. Number 3, Ms. Ellis suffered severe emotional distress. And number 4, Ms. Almanzar's extreme and outrageous conduct was a substantial factor in causing Ms. Ellis to suffer severe emotional distress. Answer, no.
Are we done?
Nope.
Section C,
Nope, not done yet.
and contributory negligence. Number 8,
Negligence
did
and
Ms. Ellis prove
contributory
all the following
negligence.
elements of negligence? Number 1, Ms. Almanzar was negligent. Number 2, Ms. Almanzar's negligence caused Ms. Ellis to suffer physical harm rather than only emotional distress. And 3, Ms. Almanzar's negligence was a substantial factor in causing Ms. Ellis's harm. Answer, no.
Nope.
Cardi B won on all counts.
Section D, punitive damages. Question 12. Did
There's
you
not.
answer question 4 and
There's not going to be punitive damages because they didn't find any liability, but they're reading it anyway.
7? Answer, no. Signed this date, September 2nd, 2025, by foreperson George Uloa, number 3.
Good job, jury.
All right, let me ask.
Do you wish to poll the jury? Cardi B's lawyer, no, Your Honor. Plaintiff's lawyer, yes, Your Honor. Poll the jury.
The foreman, was it unanimous as to all the questions?
Yes.
All right, so the question that the clerk is going to be asking is,
It was a unanimous verdict. It didn't have to be at civil, but it was a unanimous verdict.
I'm not even playing around. I will, even if I'm in my deathbed, I swear to God, I will say it in my deathbed. I did not touch that woman. I did not touch that girl. I didn't lay my hands on that girl. And with that being said, this time around, I'm gonna be nice. The next person to try to do a frivolous lawsuit against me, I'm going to countersue, and I'm gonna make you.
She's like, you want to come for my bag? I'm coming for yours. That's fair.
And I'm gonna make you pay, because this is not okay. I think people have like this misinterpretations of celebrities, like it's like, oh well, we could ask for this and they're gonna settle. You don't work at home and you don't work all day and you don't work for your money to give out your money. So don't ever think that I'm just gonna give you my money that I work hard for. I don't lay in bed all day. I work all day, and I work hard for my money, for my kids, and for people I take care of. So don't you ever think that
She's like, don't you come for me to try to get a payday. I'm not doing it. Good for you.
you're gonna sue me and I'm just gonna settle and just give me my money. It's not gonna happen. I do also want fans at home, though, not to find their social media, her family's social media, her social media, and bother her. I hope that this is something that I leave.
Good for you. It's an appropriate boundary. I am not your bank account.
Behind that she leave behind. Don't go bother her. Don't be talking about her. Don't be talking about how she look. Don't call her no nasty names.
We're going to talk about her lawyer, though. A lawyer should have looked at this case and said, no, ma'am. I love her for saying, leave her alone. Just leave her alone.
Let's just put this behind, but I'm giving a warning. I am not that celeb that you're gonna sue and you think it's gonna settle. I'm not gonna settle.
We know this.
Especially when I'm super completely innocent. I know I got a little reputation, but I swear to God I'm innocent. I swear to God, like this, like I'm really innocent for real. And I just want to say thank you, everybody.
Cardi, they came back so quickly with this verdict. What does that say to you?
They came back so quickly with this verdict. What does it say to me? That they looked at Cardi and went, yep, for real.
It says that it's bull.
Ms. Emani, are you disappointed with the verdict?
Not at all. I don't think that it reflects the truth, but I'm not disappointed.
Girl, what?
We know that the justice system is sometimes flawed, and unfortunately, that was the case for me. Like I said,
Ma'am, this is not the justice system being flawed. The lawyers needed to tell you that this was not a winnable case. The flaw is your attorney. The jurors did their job.
firm on my position. I still stand firm on my attorney. I think we fought a good fight, but like I said,
I want to talk to your attorney about fighting a good fight.
more importantly, it's about accountability. I had my day in court. I showed up. I held my head high, and I can walk away and say that I showed up, and she had to look me in the eye. I had to look her in the eye, and we did our best.
Are you sorry you brought the case in retrospect?
Are you sorry you brought the case in retrospect? That's a great
Not at all.
question.
Not at all.
Is your bank account sorry that you brought the case? That's 2 days of a 4-day trial. We just zoomed all of it. Well, we're not done with this one. We can't say case closed. Cardi B won this case, but there's still an OSC regarding this attorney's behavior in court. So I'm real curious to see what plaintiff's counsel has to answer for. I'm real curious about, we looked at that case real quick where counsel caused a mistrial by putting hands on opposing counsel. I want to know a lot more about that case. You guys stay tuned with the Law Nerd app. I will keep you in the loop about when we're streaming, what we're streaming. Taking a look at civil cases and what's going on in different courtrooms across the country is interesting. And I think there have been times we've looked at juries and been like, what are they thinking? And then there's times that we look at juries and we know what they're thinking. These jurors submitted excellent questions. I think they were great. They were diligent and they clocked this case. I'm not surprised by this jury verdict at all. I'm surprised that this went to trial. But then again, when it comes to a celebrity and they think there's going to be money, I'm not that surprised. Thanks for joining me. If you enjoyed this episode and don't want to miss updates on your favorite cases, you're going to need the Law Nerd app at lawnerdapp.com. That way you can stay in the loop on the cases that matter most to you, and you never know when you're going to catch feelings for a new case. So make sure you get it for free on iOS and Android. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a Law Nerd.